Newark, New Jersey is suing New York City over a housing assistance program that sends some homeless New Yorkers to Jersey and pays their rent for a year. New York has agreed to stop sending families to Newark for now, but it's also filing a countersuit saying that Newark's discriminating against families. While they duke this all out in court, some families are getting stuck in the middle. Alexa Liautaud talked with one mother who's struggling to make ends meet.
What makes it so difficult to get back on your feet?
The jobs. It's basically the jobs over here. The wage is not the same. I just started working again as a driver, and I've been backed up.
People argue that this program helps people enough and that taxpayer money should be spent differently. What do you think of that?
I think it's a lie. This program does not help as they think it does. It really doesn't.
Do you regret the SOTA program?
Yes.
Do you wish you had stayed in the shelter?
No, but I know there would have been other ways.
The lease for Nemesis and her family was up on December 14th, meaning she can't make rent for this month. And they're back to square one.
What are your options?
Help. I have no other option, and just continue to work how I've been trying to.
Alexa Liautaud is here with me now. Alexa, just heartbreaking to hear that mother. I mean, to see her in tears and hear what she's going through. What's at the heart of this battle between Newark and New York City? I mean, it seems on the surface like New Jersey's just saying, don't send people here.
Well, it's complicated,
okay.
Right? So Newark sued New York City in early December.
Okay.
They said that they actually had no idea how many families this program was sending across to New Jersey.
Okay.
And they also said that the way that the program is structured gives landlords the incentive to create environments, housing environments that aren't habitable, that people didn't have water or heat. And so Newark was really concerned that these apartments that New York was sending the homeless families into, they were getting complaints about them and they didn't know how necessarily to deal with that. On the New York City side, as you mentioned, New York City countersued. We saw that today. And New York City is essentially saying that Newark's position on this is discriminatory against low-income families. So both sides have legitimate and valid arguments in this case. Really, homeless families, again, as you mentioned, are stuck in the middle, and it's complicated.
I had never heard about a program like this until you did this story. Is this new or specific to New York?
So the concept of relocating families, specifically homeless families, is not necessarily new. So we see it in Florida, Arizona, California. This concept dates back decades, but specifically in New York City, we've seen it a lot. We've seen this concept floated throughout the Koch administration. There was this idea that New York City would buy a hotel in the Catskills to relocate homeless families. And then we saw under the Bloomberg administration, the more controversial one-way bus ticket out approach that was developed under the Bloomberg administration. And so it's not necessarily new, but we are seeing more attention being placed on this strategy now because of the Newark lawsuit.
You mentioned this family's lease was up when? Saturday?
Saturday.
What happens to them now? What's going on with them?
So I spoke with the family this morning. They received an eviction notice on their door on Friday, so a day before their lease was up. Now, in New Jersey, you can't actually be evicted unless there's a court order. So their court date is on January 7th, so they're going to wait out the month of December. But the bigger question is, when these programs are supposedly supposed to get people back onto their feet, what actual components do that? When you see Nemesis and her family, they're going to be back to square one.
Yeah.
And so this is an issue that major metropolitan cities across the United States are dealing with. Is rental assistance enough to get homeless families back onto their feet? And as you saw in this case, it isn't necessarily so.
Yeah, not always. I mean, I'm sure in some situations it does work, but it seems like it certainly didn't for her, at least not yet.
Exactly.
Oh, Alexa, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.